In alhamdulillah wa salat wa salam ala wa rasulullah. We're continuing with our topic of remembering Allah and how remembering Allah brings about great reward for us in our everyday lives. If we remember Him every day on a regular basis. And when we talk about remembering Him on a regular basis, this means remembering Him when we do things such as when we eat, before we eat, when we enter our home, before we go to sleep, when we wake up from sleeping. Okay, well also guys, we talked about how remembering Allah brings about the benefit of keeping you connected to Him, so that when you are faced with a trial in life or you're experiencing something distressful, He will be there for you. And there are certain words that our prophet taught us to say if we're suffering from some type of distress. For example, you see another Muslim suffering. You go to the mosque and a sister comes to you and she says, I really haven't been feeling too good. I've been sick with the flu, or, subhanAllah, I got diagnosed with cancer, or subhanAllah, my arthritis is hurting so bad. Whenever you see another person suffering, you should say, praise and thanks be to Allah who saved me from what He has been afflicted with and has honored me over many of His creatures. If you say that, guys, that will prevent you from getting that sickness. And a lot of people, need to understand that. You go to work, people sick with the flu, you don't want to get it. Yes, spray your Lysol. Yes, clean down the furniture. Yes, wash your hands and all that. But also say praise and thanks be to Allah who's protected me from what these people are afflicted with and who has honored me over His creation, and maybe that'll add to you not getting sick. That'll increase your chances of not getting sick. And also, guys, you don't want to say it whereas the person can hear you, because you're going to end up hurting that person's feelings. Let me stress that, because, I remember when I taught this class before, I went to a mosque, and one of the people who was there, I was sick with my arthritis. And one of them came to me and says, praise and thanks be to Allah who saved me from what you got. Oh my God, how hurtful a thing. I'm like, astaghfirullah, brother. You should have said that where I couldn't hear you. Okay? Because you could hurt somebody's feelings with that. So you don't want to say it so that the person can hear, because you don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. Because what you're doing is thanking Allah for sparing you of that sickness. The point is not to hurt somebody else. The point is not to make yourself even seen to be better than anyone else. The point is to glorify and thank Allah for sparing you, because He could have given you that illness too, but He didn't. So you want to say this where the other person really cannot hear you, because you don't want to hurt that person's feelings. Just say, praise and thanks be to you, Allah, who has saved me from what that person is suffering from, and for honoring me over many of your other creations. Say that, and say it where the person can't hear you. And again, a lot of us suffer with sorrow and grief. The death of a loved one, losing your job, sickness. Whenever you encounter some type of sorrow or grief, the Prophet taught us to say, there is no God but Allah, the mighty, the forbearing, and there is no God but Allah, the Lord of the mighty throne. There is no God but Allah, the Lord of the heavens and the earth, and the Lord of the throne of honor. By saying this will open your connection with Allah, and Allah will give you the ability to endure whatever the thing is that's making you sorrowful or that's causing you grief. You're sick dealing with arthritis. So you say there is no God but Allah, the Almighty, the forbearing. There is no God but Allah, the Lord of the throne. There is no God but Allah, the Lord of the heavens and the earth. and the Lord of honor, and Allah will give you the ability to endure whatever that arthritis pain is, or whatever the grief is, whatever you're going through. Also, another thing you can say when you are faced with a hardship in life. Whenever the prophet was faced with a difficulty, he would say, "Oh, the living, oh, the eternal, I seek help in your grace." In other words, he'd call upon Allah. He's calling upon Allah. "Oh Allah, the living, the eternal, I seek your help." You know, whenever something happens, call upon Allah. I'm telling you guys, Allah will give you that strength, that burst of energy you need to get over whatever it is, or to handle whatever it is you're faced with. And again, our Subhanallah el-Deen. Whenever something serious happens, the Prophet would raise his head to the sky and he would say, "Subhanallah el-Azim." Okay, so again, that Subhanallah is always a great thing to say. When you are faced with a hardship, or you get bad news, say somebody gave you some bad news, you know, say Subhanallah el-Azim. Also, another supplication our Prophet taught us to say when we are faced with a calamity in life. He said, "Say, O Allah, I hope for your mercy, so give me not over to myself, even for a little as a wink of an eye, and set my affairs straight, because there is no God but you." I'm going to tell you, this is one of the ones I say. Whenever I'm faced with something in life that's bad, like, you know, it could be pain, or something bad happens at my job, or I get bad news, or, you know, something happens, I say, "Oh Allah, I hope for your mercy. Do not leave me alone to myself, not even for a minute. And make my affairs okay, Allah. There is no God but you." That's what I say. You know, you might have to change the words a little bit to make them make sense. Okay, that's fine. The meaning is the meaning. You know, English is a language that changes constantly. We don't speak this way anymore. Okay, so you can change the words around to it's the meaning that is what's important. Or you can say it in the Arabic. That's why I have the Arabic written there too. Also, another thing the Prophet used to say whenever he was in pain, he used to say, "Oh Allah, I associate none with you in worship." Just simply saying, "Oh Allah, I associate none with you in worship," helps you to handle whatever it is you're facing, be it pain or distress. And also to say, "There is no God but you, Allah. You are far exalted and above all weaknesses, and I was indeed the wrongdoer." Any of this. So again, the point is, whenever we are faced with a calamity in life, be it sickness, a problem with the wife, the kids, the job, turn to Allah and call upon Him, and He will give you the strength you need to endure, to handle, to cope with whatever it is that you are faced with. Also, another supplication. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Say, O Allah, I am your servant, son of your servant, son of your female servant. My forehead is in your hand. Your command concerning me prevails, and your decision concerning me is just. I call upon you by every one of your beautiful names, of which you described yourself, or which you have revealed in your book, or have taught any one of your creatures, or which you have chosen to keep in the knowledge of the unseen with yourself, to make the Quran the delight of my heart, the light of my chest, and remove my grief, my sorrow, and my afflictions." SubhanAllah. Saying this supplication, guys, the Prophet said, supplication using these words, it will be answered, and Allah will remove whatever it is that you are faced with and replace it with something good. So He'll get you over whatever that hardship is, losing a job, and He'll give you a job that's even better. Or He'll get you through that divorce and send you a husband that's better. Okay, He'll cure you, or not. Even if He doesn't cure you, He'll make it that the pain that you are dealing with bearable, so you can move on in life. Also, another supplication that the prophet taught us to say if we're confronted with a bad situation. To say, "Oh Allah, there's no ease except what you make easy. And you alone can turn a difficult situation into an easy one." Just simply, again, you're basically asking Allah, "Oh Allah, I'm faced with a hard situation here. Only you have the power to make it easy. So I'm calling upon you, Allah, to turn this situation into something easy so I can handle it." See what you're saying? You're asking Allah to give you the ability to handle whatever it is that you're going through. And again, a lot of us worry about how we're going to pay the bills. A lot of us worry about how we're going to put food on the table, how I'm going to pay the rent this month. Oh my God, I got credit cards up to my neck, my throat. The prophet taught us what to say if you are lacking the basic needs of life. He said, when you leave your house and you are afflicted with a hardship, why don't you say, "In the name of Allah, respecting myself, my property, and my deen, O Allah, cause me to be satisfied and pleased with your decree, and bless me in what is decreed for me, so that I will not want to rush what you have delayed, nor to delay what you have rushed." So again, don't let life kick you down. Don't worry. Okay, hold on for 1 second, guys. Just 1 second, please. I'm cooking something on the stove. Okay. So again, guys, don't let life get you down to the point where you despair. We all worry about how we're going to pay our bills. We all worry about how we're going to live from the next day to the next. Put it in the hands of Allah. We have to learn to put our problems in the hands of Allah. And we need to learn to accept whatever Allah has decreed for us. Remember, guys, Allah is not going to place a burden on any of us that we cannot handle. The simple fact that you're going through whatever it is you're going through means that you can handle it. Otherwise, Allah would not have given it to you. For example, debt. Oh my God. One day the Prophet ﷺ entered the mosque and he saw a man named Abu Umayma there. And he asked Abu Umayma, "What's wrong with you? I see you sitting in the mosque and it's not even time to pray. Why aren't you at home? What's going on?" And the brother said, "Oh Prophet, I am so worried because I am in such great debt. I can't pay my bills." The Prophet said, "Let me teach you some words to say so that Allah will remove your worry and Allah will settle your debts." He said, "Every morning when you wake up and every evening say, 'Oh Allah, I seek refuge in you from all worry and grief. I seek refuge in you from incapacity and slackness. I seek refuge in you from cowardice and niggardliness. And I seek refuge in you from being overcome by debt and being subjected to men.'" Niggardliness means being stingy. Stingy. Cowardice is greed. Okay? So if you say these words every morning and every evening, Allah will remove your worry and He will cause your debts to end up being settled. And I'm telling you, this supplication works because I say it all the time. And it keeps me out of debt, and I don't worry about my bills anymore. Well, the only thing I worry about is this website, because this website is donations, and I don't have money to donate. So I'm hoping that you guys will donate. But as far as my own personal bills, I don't worry about them. Okay, so this is something that we should say if we're worried about how to pay the bills. And again, life was not meant to be a bowl of cherries. We were created to prove to Allah that we really do believe in Him. So Allah is going to subject us to trial after trial after trial. When you get over one hardship, be it a sickness, be it bills, be it death, there's going to always be another one there for you to handle. The Prophet taught us to say, whenever you are faced with a hardship, to simply say, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi rajiun, which means we are from Allah and to Him is our return. To simply say that. To simply say that whenever you are faced with another trying situation, Allah will bring tranquility over you. And He will snap you to attention and cause you to be able to handle whatever it is. Understand that, guys. Because you're going to get over one problem and you're going to be faced with another. Just say, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi rajiun. And then stand up and deal with whatever it is. Remember, guys, the strong believer is more loved by Allah than the weak one, even though both are good. Okay? The strong believer doesn't panic when he's faced with a trial. The strong believer calls upon Allah instead to help him get through his trial. And then the strong believer handles whatever his trial is with patience, knowing that if he couldn't have handled it, Allah wouldn't have given it to him. So I want you guys to think about that as you're faced with different trials of life. You want to be that strong believer. Know that you can get through it. You can overcome it. If you couldn't get through it or overcome it, it wouldn't be happening to you. You simply need to just call upon Allah. Ask Him to help you. Ask Him to guide you. Ask Him to give you the ability to get through it, to handle it, and come out a winner, to come out a champion. That's all you need to do. And Allah will give you that means. The key is you have to ask for it. On that note, we'll stop right here for today. Tomorrow we'll continue